Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? I am back. Uh, it has been a little under 2 years, I want to say. I think the last time I streamed was December of 2020, but I'm back. I'm back. Just move the mic up a bit. All right. I don't expect anybody to be here right now. Like, it's been like dumb long. So I'm not even, it is what it is. But I just wanted to make this video. I feel like I even feel weird just like do it like in the moment. Like when it's been a while since you've streamed, like a while, like a year or more, it just feels odd. Like being in front of the camera doing stuff. Like, I'm used to it, but like even just like getting the stream going, doing all of that, still feels weird. So I'm gonna try to do more of these. This is more of just kind of like an info video and just kind of like a welcome back video, just kind of let you know like just kind of what's been going on, what I've been doing, what I hope to do in the very near future. Because I think for me, like even just doing this was like a big thing, like which is kind of related to kind of what's been going on. So like I think a lot of you who have watched my channel before and know me already know that like depression is something I've dealt with for a long time. Anxiety is another thing that I've been dealing with for a long time. So that doesn't help like trying to get back into the swing of certain things like streaming and that kind of stuff. I've been going to school, like that's almost done. I'm like so close to getting my teacher certification for elementary school. Um, work. I've been like working like as a teacher. So it's just like it's just a lot. It's just a lot. So I've been trying to like balance everything and been doing therapy and everything like that, so that works. But like it's just not easy to just kind of jump back into it because you're like, what are subscribers gonna expect like what are they gonna need, like stuff like that. So you kind of build these like scenarios in your head that aren't real, right? Because like they're not real in a sense, right? But you let them kind of dictate like how you make certain decisions. So that's kind of how I've been like for now. Until now. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stream. I wanted to stream Monday. No, not Monday, yesterday, but I didn't get to that because I was getting some work done. But I was like, I gotta stream sometime. Like I gotta stream sometime. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, but I'm gonna stream at some point. You know what I mean? So I had to do it. I'm glad that I'm doing it now. So, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? Um, like obviously the camera's still the same. I'm still using this like same Logitech camera or whatever. Because the laptop camera is like awful. Like it's terrible. So I'll figure that out. I'll figure out like the camera and stuff like that and figure out like, something that I can use stream that like has like really, really good quality, I guess. That won't be anytime soon because I just like my main thing like for this is just getting back in the swing of things and like actually getting some streams going and just kind of reconnecting with everybody. Um, but yeah, so in terms of just like stuff, a lot of like folks that like really know me like know that like politics is something that I've been really like invested in, stuff like that. Um, just kind of doing all of that. And yeah. I've been better. Yeah, I'll say that. I've been better. You know what I mean? Like I got married. So, there's that. I should have mentioned that first. But I'm nice to see you again. It's just great to like even see someone, you know what I mean? It just makes you feel like really good in that sense. Um, and like the notification still kind of works, I guess. So that's good. But yeah, I got married, so I think for me one thing I'm just kind of looking forward to is just like talking about things again, just like throwing my thoughts out on things and stuff like that, and just reacting to manga. Like that's the main thing, I think like when I try to react to stuff and I was just like trying to do too much like for myself. Like I'm not the kind of person that does this because like now like I'm trying to make some money, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to start a Patreon, I was trying to do all these other things, and it was just like the anxiety and the depression were like no, you're not gonna do that. So It was just too much. It was just too much, you know? So I think for now, my main thing is just like talking about, stuff that I'm really into, like, but specifically just like reading manga. Like I just want to get back into like reading certain manga, coming on here, on a certain day. Most likely it'll be like a Sunday, because Sundays tend to be the only days where I have like really have like time and I don't have to be anywhere. Like Sundays, I generally don't have to be anywhere unless like, I have to like, unless I need to like go like with my wife to like visit in-laws and stuff like that. Sorry, my cat's like looking for affection. Hello, buddy. But other than that, you know what I mean? Like Sundays are just like a free day for me for the most part. Okay, get some work to get some school work done, get some teaching work, get some prep work done, maybe get some grading done, stuff like that. Spend time with, the wife and stuff like that. But other than that, right now, I have no idea. Like in terms of manga that I'm reading, I don't know if I'm reading anything at the moment. Like I like, check things out, like, and not really checking it. Like I'll be like, people will talk about, oh, this, I've been reading this, you should check it out. But generally the only thing that I think I'm really keeping up with is Witch Hat Atelier. And even that is just like whenever the next volume comes out. So I'm not keeping up with it in terms of like, oh, every week I'm reading a chapter or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I haven't read scans in like forever. But I think that's the only one that I'm really like, okay, Witch Hat has come out, like I got it saved, I'm buying the volume, I'm doing that. I have to get on so many things, yo. I have to get on so many things. Like, yo, you don't even know. Like and I think the main reason why I haven't like gotten on any new manga or anything is because I've been waiting to stream again so I can react to them. So I've got so many things that I want to get back to, that I want to check out, that I want to read. I want to get back to Jujutsu Kaisen. I want to get back to Battle Angel Alita. I want to get back to like some of the shoujo and stuff that I've been reading. I want to get back to Paradise Kiss. I want to get back to all this other stuff that I've been reading. You know what I mean? So I think what I'm going to try to do is just like get back to like certain titles that like I'm going to read certain titles that I have already started reacting to and just reread those chapters. So I'm like, okay, I know what's going on. So when I go back to like my Battle Angel Alita readathon or my Monster readathon or those things, like my Vinland Saga readathon, you know what I mean? All that stuff, like I want to reread that stuff so that I know like, okay, I know what I was looking at. I have a good idea of like the world, who the characters are, what's going on, so that I don't just like throw myself back into it. Could I? Sure, but what I know, like names and stuff like that, I might know like 40% of the names of like in the manga and stuff like that. But then the other 60%, I'm like, I don't know who this character is. Like I mean, I might know the character, but I'm like, what's the relationship with this person? What's going on here? Like, what are the intricacies of like the plot for the given arc that I left off at? So stuff like that. You know what I mean? I just want to give myself a bit of time to like reread some of that stuff. And I don't have to reread like the whole series. It's more just kind of like maybe like if there are like 10 chapters from where I left off, I can do that, and I'm like, and then I'm back in. I'm good to go. You know what I mean? But I don't have to like go all the way back to like chapter 1 of Vinland Saga or like chapter 1 of Battle Angel Alita. I don't got to do none of that. That's too much. It would be too much for myself, and like then the anxiety would creep up, the depression would like I would just be overthinking things. So my goal is to maybe pick like 1 or 2 series that I feel like I really, really want to check out. Like 2 new series that I really want to check out and then react to them. I think Chainsaw Man will probably be one of them because like I've heard so many great things, like people who love Chainsaw Man, who are like excited about the second sort of part of Chainsaw Man that recently came out. So that's one of them that I think I definitely want to react to. The other one, I'm not sure yet. I always try to kind of like keep some sort of balance. So I don't want it to all be shonen or to all be seinen or that kind of thing. I want to pick like a shoujo that I feel like, stuff like that. Like I want to pick a shoujo or josei that that I really want to check out, that people have been like, yo, you got to check this out. You got to read this. You got to read this. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But all of the readathons that I've started, I want to get back to. Like even Kingdom, like Kingdom is a scan one, but I still want to get back to Kingdom. Like I feel like it was really, really good where I left off. And I feel like I'm at a place where like I've like changed my mind about certain things, about like how I consume certain kinds of media and stuff like that. And I think Kingdom's one of those things where, you know, at one point I was just trying to be like super, super, super pure in a certain way and be like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. But it's also like Kingdom's one of those things where, you know, there just aren't any releases. I had started reading it. I put out, you know, content for that. People were really excited about it. And, you know, people always tuned in when I was doing the Kingdom Readathon. So I definitely want to bring that back at some point. I think the main thing for me, though, is just figuring out how many things I want to bring back at a place where it makes sense for me and just like, you know, the time that I have, and it's not getting in the way of like other like obligations that I have. You know what I mean? Because I think it's very easy to like have obligations, like important things. And especially if you deal with like anxiety and depression, to like procrastinate or to like focus on something else that feels really good, but not deal with the stuff that you actually have to deal with. So luckily I love teaching, and I love like the education and stuff like that I do, and, you know, in politics and all that stuff. So, and I have really great friends in that sense. So I think for me, it's just knowing that like, okay, I have a limit in terms of what I want to get back to, and I want to slowly bring back other things into my like rotations. So I think like I need to make it so that I'm not doing like a bunch of readathons every week. It might be like, you know, 1 week I do a certain set of readathons, and then another week I do a certain set of readathons. You know what I mean? And then I figure out what I'm gonna react to and what I'm not gonna react to anymore. And then I just do it that way, like a bi-weekly kind of thing. Like maybe, you know, one Sunday, you know, every other Sunday I do Battle Angel Alita, Vinland Saga, you know, what's another one? Monster, like just ones that I've like, you know, Kingdom, and that might be just like 4 that I do on a Sunday. And then the following week, I go to like the shoujo one manga that I've been reacting to, like Basara and Paradise Kiss and Yona, stuff like that, you know, and I just kind of like put them all together in that sense. And I think if I like organize it that way, then it'll be easier for me to just kind of like slowly but surely bring things back into rotation. I know for sure that like Alita and Yona are 2 that I really want to get back to, because those are like my favorites, like to cover, like before I went on like, you know, my like super long hiatus. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. But I think in terms of like manga that I want to check out for now and just kind of like check out the first chapter or something like that, Chainsaw Man definitely is one. And the other one I don't know, but I know I want it to be like a shoujo or a josei. I want it to be something that like you know, is true to like my taste and what I like. You know what I mean? And I know I wanted to get back to like, you know, and I know I wanted to react to like comics and stuff like that. So you know, I'm not going to do any comics at the moment, but there are definitely comics that I want to read. Saga was a comic that I loved, and it came back like a little while ago, something like that. But it was on hiatus for like a year or something like that, or like a couple of years or something. It was on hiatus. It was on hiatus for a while. And that was like, I was so sad because I love Saga. So that might be something that I bring into the rotation. Like, you know, so people who are actually into like Saga and who have read it, that might be something that I'll bring, you know, that I'll bring into the rotation and read. What I might do with that though, is because it's been so long since I've read Saga, I remember generally what's going on, but I still want to like read it from the beginning, because I still have my volumes. I still have my Saga volumes in my you know, my comic shelf, or one of my comic shelves and stuff like that. So I'll just pull those volumes out and just put them down, and then just like read them on a stream. You know, just kind of go through like certain chapters on a stream and kind of do it that way. You know, so it'll be like a Saga reread. a thon, and then wherever I left off, I'll start and pick up the other the next volume, which I think is like volume 10 or 9. I want to say 10. I think right now the saga volumes that I own, let's say I have 9 of them. I have 9 volumes. So like 10 is the next one that I'd have to buy. And that's where I would be like on a readathon, like where I haven't reacted to it before or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at, with stuff right now. In terms of other things like bringing people on the channel, doing all that stuff, like I'll figure that out when I figure that out. But even just doing this video was like a big deal for me, because I kept thinking, I was like, man, and I was talking about it with my therapist. I talked about it with my wife. Like I was like, I want to get back to streaming. I miss streaming. I miss interacting with folks and talking about the stuff that I'm reading, with people on here. So and my Twitter like isn't like I might mention some manga stuff on Twitter, but it's like super specific, and I feel like I want to get back to having like manga commentary on my Twitter, doing stuff like that, sharing like texts that I really like, doing my like read them books, like hey, here's like a manga suggestion, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I want to get back to that stuff that I was doing because that really made me happy. So I think a big part of what I'm doing now is just like trying to get back to things that make me happy, like in a really basic sense. So yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think, and I'm definitely going to try to get like a different camera. Personally, I don't really care. Like I'm just, so long as you can see me and you can hear me just fine. I don't really care. But I do think that like, eventually I want to like invest in a camera and do that kind of thing. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. But yeah. I am. Yeah, so do I have a pen? Yeah, I think I have something right here that I can use to write. Let me write this down now, just so I don't forget. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I'll forget to say that I wanted to do Chainsaw Man, but I have to decide on another one. So Chainsaw Man is one. And I think, Jujutsu Kaisen I want to get back to because I never like reacted to like the Shibuya incident arc and stuff like that where people love. But I know like something. I know one like really big thing, but outside of that, I don't know anything. So I'm really just kind of like looking forward to reading that. And then I just gotta pick a shoujo that I want to like read. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be Yona because I've already started Yona. But there was another one that I wanted to read and like react to. I think it was you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ask folks on Twitter. I'm gonna say, hey, what shoujo should I react to? And I'll also ask here. I'll like pin a comment or whatever and be like, what shoujo should I like? What or josei like whatever like should I react to like on the channel like a new one? So I'll ask on here, but I'll also throw it out on Twitter just to be like just to give people a shot to like throw things out, and if I've already like read it or I've already started reacting to it, I'll mention it. But I'm always trying to like, again, I have like, my tastes are all over the place. So I always like to read like different things, cool things that I think are really, really good. And that you think I would think are, I would enjoy. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Other than that, I'm good. Other than that, I'm good. It's just great to see people in the chat. Like even that is like awesome. That's like super cool. So I think right now I'm just I'm just gonna pick a shoujo. Let me write this down. Just want to forget because that's something that I've been doing a lot, just like writing things down. Or josei. And that helps me remember things because I have a hard time like remembering things. Like I would say my short-term memory isn't great. And it's not so much that it's not great, but it's just that like I have a hard time like doing one thing and then um, remembering like some other thing that like was said or whatever. If I'm like multitasking, I like have a hard time like multitasking when it comes to like people speaking. So like, if someone's talking or like something's being said, and then I'm doing something else, like maybe like reacting to this, and look being on here and stuff like that, then I'll just forget whatever it is that I was saying or someone else was saying. So I just write things down. And that helps me to like, jog my memory and be like, oh yeah, I mentioned this thing where I talked about this thing. Especially if it's like days later where I might have just forgotten it totally. So I'm gonna do those two things. I think in terms of things that I want to get back to, I want to get back to Alita because Alita was dope. And I really want to get to Mars Chronicle stuff. Because I'm close to finishing the Last Order, which is like the second part of Battle Angel Alita. And Yona, I love Yona. So those are the two that I really want to get back to. So I'm just gonna kind of like slowly but surely reread that stuff. Witch Hat is something that I've read so much that doesn't really make any sense to react to it. I made a video on it, on my thoughts and stuff like that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to react to it. I already did that on Twitter, so it's like whatever. So it's not one that I really want to do. But those two I want to get back to. So I'm gonna slowly read those two. Vinland Saga as well. And the other ones. So I'll start with Alita and Yona. So like 1 week will be Alita on the weekend on one Sunday. Then the next Sunday would be Yona. Then one Sunday, would be Alita and then Yona again. Like that. You know what I mean? I be forgetting things so quick, like this is something that like I struggle with my wife all the time. Like if I'm doing anything, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm doing something and someone else is speaking, I have to stop that thing that I'm doing because if I don't, I will not catch a word. You know what I mean? Yeah. There are so many manga. Let me actually, there's some manga that I have. Actually, I'll be right back, and I'll tell you a little bit about like what I've been doing in terms of like teaching. But give me one sec. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. All right, so here's some suggestions. I just grabbed a bunch of manga, so that like I could find and that wasn't gonna take me very long to get, so you weren't just sitting there. But So these are ones that I just think that are manga that I like and that I feel like people outside of my circle generally haven't read or haven't like checked out because they're just not like super popular or they don't have like a very popular anime or whatever. They're not manga that I suggest to my. Some of them are manga that I suggest to my students. Most of them are not because they're just not. Like my students tend to be like and during on Saturdays and during the summer, like tend to be middle school students and like high school students of like ninth grade. So I have to be careful with that. So like there's some that I will suggest and I'm like it's fine, and then there are others where I just would not ever mention because it's just not my place to do that. But I would never tell them not to read things that they want to read. Like I'm not going to stop them from reading things. But I just know that it's like it's like as a teacher, like there's just things that I can do and things that I don't feel like I should do. So the manga, and then I'll kind of go a little bit over like what I've been kind of like working on, and what I'm kind of going to be teaching actually this Saturday. So, okay, so Real is like a phenomenal manga. When I started Real, I was like, okay, like I mean, I know this is the author of Slam Dunk, and I believe Vagabond 2, like Slam Dunk and Vagabond. I believe like they've just written like two super popular manga. And well, three because Real is super popular too, but it's not like one that like it's not one that's like in the mainstream environment of like people who love like anime, you know what I mean? Like mainstream kind of fans who like take up a lot of space and a lot of like area when things are being discussed and stuff like that. Like this, like Real is not ever trending. You know what I mean? Like Real is not like a manga that trends. If it starts again, it's people who have read it are like, oh, and maybe like a few people are on Twitter like hyping that up if it's like returning or something or whatever. So Real is awesome. I love Real. Now, this isn't to say that like all the manga that I'm suggesting are like perfect or they're like amazing in like they're like super accurate representation or anything like that. I just think that it's really good. I do think it's an important manga because of its discussion of disability, and I think it's one that like generally is really good in terms of just like showing like just like it's real. Like that's why it's called Real, because it's like the realities of what happens when you are someone who, right, like generally, right, who is able-bodied and like can do certain things, and you don't and don't ever really think about disability, and then all of a sudden something happens and now you are a disabled person and you have to like actively like make certain choices, and you are more acutely aware of how the world treats disabled people like garbage, right? Like that, like Real is great, but obviously the focus is like basketball, but that other stuff is there too. There's another manga that I think is really good. I don't know where I put it, but it's one that I would suggest. It's called Perfect World. I'll look for it after I go through this pile. But Perfect World, I think, is even better in that sense. And like, this is a manga about disability. This is a manga about having being in a romantic relationship with a disabled person, and how how ableism is like a very like rampant thing, and how you have to check yourself, and how you have to have like those conversations, and how you have to like be on that like every single day. And it's not something that you can just kind of be like, all right, I'm not going to worry about this stuff anymore because it doesn't affect me, and because I'm eating a sandwich now or whatever. It's like a consistent, constant thing. And I think Perfect World is a really great manga for those people who are looking for something that is more not that takes disability more seriously, but it's just like it's more not even accurate, but it's just like that conversation is more centered, I would say. Like real is like, yes, it's about disability, but like I would say disability and basketball are like the same, like the same kind of like level of like importance for in terms of real. But I love it nonetheless. I think everybody should read real. The other one I would suggest, of course, Nana is not done. Ayazawa is, dealing with is consistently dealing with health issues, and it just makes me super super sad. Not only because like I adore this manga, like I adore this manga. Every time I reread Nana, I'm just like I become the same obsessed like person who was like first introduced to Nana. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, I gotta read this. This is amazing. It's so good. Like I'm just like enthralled in like I'm just enthralled by like the romance and the different partners and like the heartbreak and the betrayal. And it's just like, oh, it's so good. I love Nana so much. Like, and so like when like just knowing that like there's like a point where it stops because the yeah, you can even do the digital. Like most of my copies of Nana are digital. Like I don't know how many volumes of Nana do I have? I think I have like 5 physical volumes, and then the rest of them are just digital because I just don't have the space for like all the volumes of Nana and all the volumes of everything else. But I love Nana. Anytime folks are talking about Nana, I'm like retweeting that. I'm talking about it. I'm like, go read Nana, please, please, please. So yes, this one I suggest like from like the bottom of my heart, like just please check this one out, because you're just like, why are they so broken? Why is everybody so broken? And it's like, because all of us are broken. Like all of us are a mess. Like, and I think when you're in your 20s, oh my God, my 20s, I was a mess. Like my relationships were messy. I was a disaster. So, the people that my partners were disasters, like, oh, disgusting. My early 20s anyways. So yeah. But yeah, and I'm in my 30s. I'm 33. I'll be 34 in 6 days actually. So there's that. But anyways. So those are 2 that I suggest. The next one that I suggest is Aka 13. This is such a weird manga by a not so well-known mangaka. And I think I feel like Aka 13 is the most well-known manga by Natsume Ono. Like, although there might be other ones too. I know there are other ones. I'm actually gonna look it up real quick. Because I feel like there are probably others. But let me see. I'm just gonna look up the Wikipedia real quick because I know there's probably one that's more. I think House of Five Leaves, which is also really good, is probably more popular. But my favorite is probably Aka 13. Like, and there's another one. Ristorante Paradiso. That's like a short one, but is also really good. It's like for those it's like for like people in my circle, like people that like I talk to about manga all the time with, and like I see them talk about manga all the time, and like Ristorante Paradiso or Paradiso is like a manga that like people that I like love, like Mama Loves Manga and Rin on Twitter and like folks like that, like they love that. Like they would love that kind of manga because it's about this girl who like is I can't remember where it is. Like let me look at it. Let me look at the plot real quick. But like she moves I don't know if it's in Japan. I feel like it's in like Italy, and basically like she is like a student who like has like divorced parents. She's 21, Nicoletta, and like she basically like uh starts like, you know, kind of like living at this place, and it's like a restaurant. um and there's like a restaurant owner who's like older, who's like probably in his like 50s or something like that, I want to say, or like late 40s, maybe like 50s or something. And you know, he's had his relationships and stuff like that, and like she gets like a crush on him or whatever. It's like weird. It's like so weird. His name is Claudio. It's like a weird thing, but I love it. Like, I'm just terrible. And I think it's one of those manga where you're just kind of like, you know, um, it's just weird. It's just so weird. But like, I do like it. Like, I can't help but like it, because I think like the way that it deals with certain things is actually quite good. With relationships, with the like issues that come with like like an age gap like that. Um, but it's just really good, you know. And like, I think it's just my kind of thing in terms of like the niche stuff that I like. So yeah, yeah. So that's one. So Aka 13 is basically like, it's a weird thing. It's just like it's like it's very political. That's what I would say. It's very political. And their Aka 13 is basically just like about these like agents. Aka 13 is like one of the groups within the agency. Within that agent, like within the agency as a whole, and they deal with like inspection and stuff like that. And it's not based in this world per se, but it is in a sense. It is, but it isn't, right? So like, there is no like Aka that exists in like the real world or whatever, but that's a like governmental department that it does exist, and they basically like inspect things, and they make things up, and they make sure that like certain things are up to code and things like that. And there's like a lot of like political intrigue in terms of like how money is handled, and like people who, you know, agents who are unscrupulous and stuff like that. And it's interesting. It's like interesting in that sense. At first, you just kind of like random things are happening, but I like it. But I like it. Yeah. So yo, it's been dumb long. It's been dumb long. So Aka 13 is one that I really like. But I think it's one that like I want to get back to reacting to, because it's been so long since I've read it. So I think I'm just gonna go back to reacting to. What I read, I loved from it. It's not a series that I finished, but I've read enough to where I'm like, I remember really liking it. So I probably like reread. I'll do like a reread-a-thon, like a reread what I read, and then just get back to like where I stopped off. But yeah, we back, Key. We back. Yep. Yo, the bookshelves are always stacked. You already know. All right. You can't say hashtag read them books and not be reading no books. That's just absurd. Like, that's just like an absurd thing, right? So that's why whenever I'm telling people like, yo, you go read, like, please read. I say that because I'm reading. Like, I don't be telling people to read unless I'm reading, right? So folks gotta read them books, you know what I mean? So yeah. We back. We live. Let me plug in my laptop so I don't so the stream doesn't stop randomly. But there we go. All right, we good. But yeah. So the ones that I suggested already were, all right, I just try to pick some choices that I was like, yeah, maybe heard of them, maybe haven't. Real, of course. Real is like dope. Super dope. I love Real so much. Nana is like, if someone asked me what my top 5 manga were like ever that I enjoyed reading, like, forget about like quality and everything, whatever. I still put Nana up there in terms of like quality and stuff like that. But like, if someone just was like top 5 manga ever that you just like love, Nana would be in my top 5. Like, every time I reread it, I'm like, like, I'm just like obsessed. I'm obsessed. Like, I feel like all of my emotions get dialed up to like 47. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like 47. Like, I'm just obsessed. I'm like, next volume. Like, I cannot. Yo, read the manga. Like, the episodes are great, but like when you read the manga, like it's like eating like your favorite candy. Like, it's not good for you in a sense, but it's kind of good for you because you enjoy it and it makes you happy and stuff like that. But it's just so much intensity. It's so much intensity. I love it. I love manga. So that's one that I'll say to check out. Yeah. Okay. And the last one that I suggested before I'm going to the rest of my stack, Aka 13. Aka 13 is a weird one by Natsume Ono, but it's like one. It's like, I think I'll say it's niche. It's not one that's like super popular in the States by any means, but very niche. Get through like the first couple of chapters, and then just things that get really interesting. The characters are really interesting. The main character here, I can't remember his name exactly. I want to say Jean, but give me a sec. The art is weird, but it's like really, really good. Let me see. Oh yeah, Jean. Okay, yeah, good. I knew it. Yeah, right. So super interesting character, really suave. Just like a cool dude. And it's just like looking into like the corruption within this organization, within his department, within Aka 13, and the government generally. So it's just like really, really, really good in that sense. It's like politics, like based in a sense, which I really like because me, I love my politics. So there's that. So those are the three that I've suggested so far. The next one that I'm going to suggest is Silver Spoon. Silver Spoon is another one that's really interesting by Hiromu Arakawa, who wrote Full Metal Alchemist. So it's a really weird departure for her from Full Metal Alchemist, but it's still really good because she is a phenomenal writer, phenomenal artist, manga, whatever. Okay? Anything that she writes is generally going to be really, really good. Is this on the level of Full Metal Alchemist? I wouldn't even make that comparison because they're just very different stories. But I really, really enjoyed this one. So this one is basically like about this kid, whatchamacallit, what's his name? Yugo. So he is, like a super smart dude, tries to get into the, school of his dreams, like the high school of his dreams, but does not get in. So he's like devastated. He's like, man, what am I going to do? I don't understand. So because he's kind of like, embarrassed by it and like ashamed and that kind of thing, he decides to go to the most random, out of the way school that he can think of, which is like an agriculture school where everybody that's there is into like farming, right? And they're like into agriculture, and they're learning about like how to, produce food, like how to take care of like livestock, husbandry, that kind of stuff. So you learn a lot about that. Like you can tell that Arakawa has like done so much research for the manga, but it's one that I really enjoy. I remember thinking, I was like, oh man. And then I was like, yo, this is really, really good. I think if you're a vegetarian, it can be kind of weird. If you're like, if you're someone who's or vegan, like I think more so, then it can be kind of like, But I do think that like it does a great job of just like showing like what it means to like, take care of like livestock and produce the food that you eat, and like how to like respect that process and all of that, and to respect farmers and to respect agriculturalists. So Silver Spoon is really, really good. That's another one that I would suggest. I like it a lot. And I think it's just great because, again, Yugo's really smart, but just like doesn't know, much about farming. Like he just chose a school because he knew he wouldn't see anybody that he recognized. So there's that. And it's out of the way, right? It's just like as far away from like, his hometown as he could be without, being like absurdly out of the way. In that sense. So this is one that I suggest. I really, really like. Another one that I would suggest, that I've suggested in the past. What's going on here? So let's do that. is The Girl from the Other Side. I love The Girl from the Other Side. This is another one that's just like by Nagabe, and it's just a really, really good, solid, beautiful, like beautifully drawn manga. It's basically like about this little girl who is um at the moment living right as when the story begins. It kind of starts in the middle of things, like meeting Rez. But it's basically like a story about this little girl who doesn't know where her parents are, who's like lost or whatever, and this magical like sort of like beast person is taking care of her, is kind of like her like bodyguard in a sense, because she can't really take care of herself. So, eventually you learn like what's actually going on and why he looks like this. But I really, really enjoy it. I actually suggested this to one of my middle school students, and by the time I had given the first volume, and I just let him borrow it. And like when he came back with the first volume, he was like, "Wow, this is like the best thing that I've ever read. I like thank you so much for introducing me to this, because I'm like obsessed." And like that's all I ask, that like when I suggest manga to like students, that they like actually try to read them and end up loving them, because then it's something that they really enjoy and that they can look forward to. So this is one that I suggest, and a lot of my friends really like it. I believe there's an anime that is coming out, or it's come out already. I'm not sure. I have to look. I have to go back and like check that out. But I love The Girl from the Other Side. This is one that I really, really, really like. So that's another one. I'll put the mangas that I mentioned in like the description box. I'll edit it and do that kind of thing. So I'll do that. But hopefully this records. If it doesn't record, it doesn't really matter. I'll just do another one of these. It's fine. I'll just keep the stack here and then just do like a video specifically for this. But it's fine. The next one. This one is like really cute. And the art is interesting. The art is kind of like, how would I describe it? It's like there's like a certain kind of line work. It's like cross stitch or something like that. I don't know how to describe it. Like a certain kind of line art. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it's like when you like cross like if you like cross the lines like, and it creates like a certain like a crisscrossing like sort of art, and like it creates a certain depth to it. That's the best way to describe it. Oh yeah. I don't. It doesn't bother me at all. I like one because I try not to put. I try not to put out too many manga. Like like if a student wants to borrow it, usually students generally won't ask me. But if they ask me, I'll be like, yeah, sure, here, take it, borrow it, bring it back, just take care of it. And then I'll let them borrow it, and it's not a big deal for me because like I only ever get out the first volume, because the first volume is just going to be the one that's going to be like, it's going to be, it is what it is. Like, if and most of my students are really good with the books, like they don't stain them or anything like that. So yeah, the next one that I'm going to suggest is Nicola Traveling Around the Demon's World, by Asaya Miyanaga. So it's a really cute manga that was actually suggested to me by a friend of my wife's, who was, if it's a friend of my wife's, it's a friend of mine. And they suggested it to me. They're a librarian, and they were like, yo, like you should check this out. So I was like, okay. And it's just really, really good and like really cute. And like, I like it. I like it a lot, And it's just, I think it's just like one that like when you read, it's the art is just interesting enough to where you're like, huh, And you meet these like different demons, and they have different personalities. And Nicola is just like this really cute like girl who's like moving through the world. And it's just like a nice time. Like I think it's one that just like you can really enjoy. I think it's just a good suggestion for anyone who is like getting into if you know like a friend who wants to get into manga and but doesn't want anything that's like too serious, right? So that's one that they could enjoy. Yeah. But I like it. It's just like a fun, like good time. Another one, the next one, the last one that I'm gonna is it the last one? Yes, it is the last one. So the last one that I'm gonna suggest is Sweat and Soap. Sweat and Soap is one that is very lewd. It's a lewd manga, right? And not like super lewd, but it's it's not like a hentai or anything like that. But it's like it's definitely for like people who are like into like manga that like involve sex and like and the characters are adults and they're not like shy about like hitting on each other and stuff like that. It's just like really good. I love it. I didn't know if I would like it, but all of my close friends again were like yo BMC, you got to check it out, you got to read it, you got to check it out. Obviously they don't call me BMC, but like I'm just saying BMC for reasons. But they were like, yo, you got to check it out. It's so good. It's amazing. It's like fantastic. You got to check it out. And I was like, okay. So that's what I did. I checked it out. And man, it is so good. I love it. It's basically about this woman who sweats a lot and has and is like ashamed of her body odor. Masako. But then there's this guy, and she works at like this like sort of like toiletries like place that makes like soaps and like body washes and things like that. And there's this guy who is like a product manager or whatever, like a team manager, I guess if you want to say. He's like a higher up, and he's like kind of like a genius when it comes to like making scents and like body washes and stuff like that Asako really likes. And like some of her favorites or pretty much all of her favorites were made by this guy. What's his name? I can't remember. But he's got like a fetish, right? Like he like loves like her smell. He like loves smells, right? So that's why he's great at making these products. But he loves Asako smell, right? So he's got like a kink, right? Like, and it's like, or a fetish. Like I'm like, I don't be kink shaming. I don't kink shame over here, right? I don't do that. So, right, especially because my friend Raghava was like, we don't kink shame over here. So I was like, I gotta listen to my friend. They were absolutely on the money. So I love it. And yo, Mama loves manga. Oh my god. It's been a long time, but I'm trying to stream again. I'm trying to get back into it. I was like, it's now or never. So yeah, right now. And I've seen the Renaissance stuff. I feel like I haven't responded to it, but like I've also been listening to Renaissance. And it's like it's so good. Like it's such a good album. Oh my god. Like I love Renaissance. So good. That's an album that I think anyone who hasn't listened to it yet should listen to. Phenomenal. But I love Sweat and Soap. This one is super dope. I love it. So good. Let's see. I think that's the last one. So I just suggested a whole bunch of them that I really like. Yo, for real, I'll be going to work, listen to it. School, listening to it. A break, listening to it. You know what I mean? Like, I like personally, I like to like listen to music like while I'm like, showering or whatever. So Renaissance, let's go. So that's me. But it's definitely my favorite Beyonce album. It's my favorite Beyonce album that I've listened to in like a while. It's not to say that I haven't enjoyed the other ones, but I really enjoy this one. Like this one is like perfect. It's so good. No skips. So for now, yeah, my goal is just to like react to a new manga, see how I like it on here. Then also react to a new shoujo or josei manga the following week. It'll be like on Sundays, and then I'll just start to slowly but surely bring back the other ones that I was reacting to on my like playlists and stuff. And that's kind of like my goal. My goal is just to slowly but surely get back into like a nice rhythm, but not like overwhelm myself, because that's what happened before, and like I just could not get back to streaming because every time I thought about it, at first I would feel overwhelmed. It was only like more recently that I was like, I really really miss streaming, and I want to get back to streaming. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, like I'm gonna keep suggesting manga, like whenever I read them or I get introduced to new ones. Um, but I love these manga that I suggested. I think they're really, really good. There are other ones like that I would suggest, but these are the ones that I could find easily, right? These are ones like I just picked these out because like I could find them easily, super easy to find. Just gonna do this real quick. All right, that's the stack. I love them. They're really, really good. I think it's like there's like a mirror image or whatever, but that's what it looks like from here. But I don't know how it looks like from y'all. But it's all right. I could probably flip it in like editing or whatever. At any rate, those are the manga that I've like suggested. Very quickly, I wanted to talk about one thing. So just like teaching, because I do teach, and I've been teaching middle and high school students, like early high school students, like 9th grade, maybe 10th grade, for like past 3 years on Saturdays and during the summer. But 5 days a week, I normally teach elementary school. So, one thing that I've always wanted to teach, but like I just never really felt confident teaching it until now, because I have way more experience now. I've been teaching for a while. So I feel much more confident in like my ability to lesson plan and to like consider like what students need for their grade level and what will make them like think and what they'll enjoy and stuff like that. And it's not something like obviously I wouldn't teach this to an elementary school student, but I can do this with like precocious middle school students and like early high school students. So we're going to be doing Persepolis. I love Persepolis. It's a graphic novel by Marjane Satrapi. It's so good. So good. Like, I think Persepolis is like one of the comics that just like I had stopped reading comics for a while, and I was just so solely focused on manga. Persepolis was like one of those comics that like graphic novels that like got me back, one that got me back into like reading something like graphic novels other than manga. So I'm definitely gonna teach that, and I'm like looking forward to teaching it because it's very political. It's very like the art is something that's like accessible. I think the students will really enjoy it so long as I'm like guiding them and like doing all that stuff. So I've actually got to set up the lesson plan for that. That's not going to be this week. It'll be a bit that we might talk about this week, but mainly that first bit is going to be for next week. This week they'll just kind of go over the introduction and like talk through that and like kind of do like a bit of like a historical timeline of certain things that are mentioned in the introduction to Persepolis. But and then the following week we'll get into like the first like 4 chapters, and they'll get 4 chapters every Saturday, and like it'll be that way. But it's one that I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to this one. I love it, and this is gonna be my first time teaching it. I'm looking forward to teaching it. So there's that. And I think that's it. So it's 9:00. My wife is actually done with work now. So I'm going to stop streaming. I'm going to go and eat something because I have to eat something. And I tend to forget to eat things when I'm just like, doing a lot. Like if I'm like going to school, I had class earlier. So like, I pretty much started streaming like as soon as I got home, like, and I can just kind of sit and chill a bit. But yeah. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad to be streaming. It seems like it'll be really easy to stream this. It seems like I don't think I need OBS to do the stream or anything like that. I think it should be just fine. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do it this way. And if it records, then awesome. I'll just keep doing it this way. So yeah. The camera might be a little bit higher because I usually have like a book that props up the laptop, but I don't have it today, so it is what it is. But thank y'all for coming through. Like, if you came through, I am gonna try and stream. The next stream will be Sunday. So I'm always gonna come through with recommendations. Always ask me for recommendations. Always feel free to hit me up on Twitter for recommendations. Always feel free to leave things in the chat. Not the chat, the comment section. Like, if you need more recommendations, I have no problem giving those. And yeah, all right. I haven't done this in like a year and a half, I think, but I'm gonna do it now. I'm the Black Manga Critic. Thank y'all for coming through. It's good to be back. All right. And I'm out.